Welcome to Pro Approach 4, and how are you doing? I hope everything's going well for you. And one point I want to make very clear at this point, okay? These lessons are weekly, however, it's not absolutely necessary for you to keep up on a weekly basis, okay? Just do these lessons in order, okay, at your own pace. Again, you're going to review them, you're going to go back to them, okay? They're going to make more and more sense as you go along, weeks, months from now, okay? So easy on yourself. Enjoy the whole learning process. All right? You're going to do just fantastic at this. Now, I'm going to go back a couple of lessons to Lesson 2. You recall we talked about the 1-2 progression and the 2-1 progression. We took, in the key of C, we were playing C major 9. Okay? It was that 1, 7, 3, 5, 9 voicing. That's the 1 chord in the key of C. It's a pretty way to voice it. And we moved up to the 2 chord in that progression, which is the minor chord. We played a D minor 9 voicing. Very nice. And we reversed the process. We played D minor 9, or 2, to 1, the C major 9. Okay? Now this week, what we're going to do is we're going to add the 5 chord. Very, very simple. You're going to like this. Okay. Another little bit of insight as to how a pro thinks in terms of economizing, okay, and accomplishing smooth voice leading on the piano. Okay, that C major 9 is the 1 chord, okay, based on the 1 of the scale of C major. Okay, in the key of C major, the D minor 9 is the 2 chord. All right, now if we just count up from this D, 3, 4, 5, okay? 1, 2, it's the 1 and 2 chord. 3, 4, 5. The 5 chord is going to be based on, of course, the G in the key of C major. All right? Now, the 5 chord, okay, is generally known as the dominant 7 chord, or 7th chord, plain and simple, okay? So, I have here a G dominant 7, or a G 7th chord. In its most basic form, it's root position. The root's at the bottom. It's also in closed position. All the chord tones are as close as they could possibly be to one another. Okay, so I've got G, the 1, B, the 3, D, the 5, and F, the 7 of the chord. Okay? Remember, it's starting on the 5 of the C major. All right? But this 1, 3, 5, 7 refers to degrees of a corresponding scale to that G, okay? Because every scale has a corresponding chord and vice versa, okay? But we are really talking about the 5 chord in the key of C, and we're building a chord from that, okay? So this chord consists of G, B, D, and F, or the 1, 3, 5, 7 in relation to G, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to tie this into Lesson 2, okay? Very smoothly. We're going to look at that 2 chord. There it is again. 1, 7. 3, 5, 9. Okay? Now I'm going to slow things down here. I'm just going to move my hands a little bit. Okay? I want you to look at that 5 that we were just talking about. Right there. That G. Okay? As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my right hand just where it is on these keys, okay? And I'm going to play the G of that G7 chord, the B of the same chord. I'm going to leave out the D. It's not as important as the rest. And we're actually going to acknowledge that at a later time as to why it isn't. Here I have the 7th already. Notice that? How nice. The A is the 9 of G. The E is the 13. Wow. You see what we did? Just by playing that D minor 9, okay, the right hand tones, we were playing the 3, 5, 9 of D minor 9, right? they became the 7, 9, 13 of G7. Okay? Now the 13 is often thought of as the 6th, but when it comes to dominant 7th chords, we call it the 13th. Okay? It's just a matter of adding an octave. Okay? For example, E is a 6th of G. Okay? And if we count up, we'd end up getting to 13 here. Okay? All right. We're doing great. So here we have the D minor 9. I leave everything in my right hand. Everything just as it is. And I play this G and this B of the G7 chord. Now I have G13. We've got a G7 with tons of color. Okay, we've got two tensions here, the 9 and the 13. How nice is that? Now, in music, whenever you come across a 7th chord, okay, like G7, okay, I don't want to say whenever, but very, very often is the case where that 7th chord is preceded by a minor 7 chord, okay, and it's usually that 2 of the key. For example, here's the 2 of the key of C major, D minor 7, that is often, very often followed up with the G7 chord. And more often than not, that G7 chord is followed up with the 1 of the key. This is known as, starting on D minor, the 2, 5, 1 chord progression. The 2, 5, 1 chord progression is the most common, most widely used chord progression in all of jazz and pop harmony. So now you can see why you want to get a handle on it, okay? In simple terms, 2 of the key of C, 5 of the key of C, to 1 of the key of C. That's what we're basing our chords on. The 2 chord is a minor chord, D minor 9. Look at this smooth voice leading when I just put these 2 notes down for G7. 5, 1. I want you to have fun with this. When you got a handle on it, sure, go ahead and transpose it to another key, okay? But feel confident with it first and play with it a little bit. Break the tones up. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing to learn here. The 2-5-1 chord progression. Take your time with it. Have fun with it. Have a ball. And as always, 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 play with passion.